You walk into the gym and it's always the same big question, right? Do I go left to the treadmills or right to the weight rack? It feels like you have to pick a side in this huge fitness battle. Are you a runner or a lifter? Honestly, it's not that black and white, and a lot of us are just confused about what's actually best for our goals. So today, we're going to settle this thing once and for all. We'll kick things off with the basics, what these workouts even are. Then we'll get into how they burn calories, both during the workout and long after you've gone home. We'll dive into how each one helps with different goals, like losing fat or building muscle, and cover the awesome health benefits. And, most importantly, we'll put together a simple game plan you can actually use. Let's do this. All right, first things first, let's get a really clear picture of what we're talking about. When people say cardio and strength, what do they really mean? Because they are two totally different ways to challenge your body. Think about it this way. Cardio is all about endurance. It's the long game. It's anything that gets your heart rate up and keeps it there for a while. We're talking running, biking, swimming, you get the idea. The whole point is to make your heart and lungs super efficient so you can just keep on going. Now on the flip side, you've got strength training. This is all about raw power. It's using resistance like a dumbbell or even just your own body weight to make your muscles work hard. The goal isn't to go for hours, it's to generate force and build stronger muscles.
Okay, now for the topic everyone asks about, burning calories. Most of us think that the workout that makes us sweat buckets is the one torching the most calories. But the real story is, well, it's a little more complicated and honestly, way more interesting than that.
Let's just get one thing straight right out of the gate. If you put someone on a treadmill for 30 minutes and another person in the weight room for 30 minutes, the person on the treadmill is going to burn more calories in that half hour. It's just simple math, really. Cardio is constant movement, which means your body needs a constant supply of energy. So minute for minute, cardio wins the immediate calorie burning race. But that is only half the story. Let's talk about this really cool thing called EPOC. You can just think of it as the afterburn effect. Basically, after a tough workout, your body can't just flip a switch and go back to normal. It has a ton of work to do. It has to cool down, get your breathing right, and repair your muscles. All of that extra work requires energy, which means you keep burning calories long after you've hit the showers.
And this right here is where strength training really takes the spotlight. A steady run might give you a small afterburn, but an intense weightlifting session, that creates a massive one. Why? Well, lifting weights creates these tiny little tears in your muscles. Don't worry, it's a good thing. Your body then has to spend a ton of energy over the next day or two repairing those muscles and building them back even stronger. That whole process keeps your metabolism revved up, torching extra calories while you're just going about your day.
So we have these two different ways of burning calories. One is a big fire that burns bright and fast during the workout, and the other is a slow burn that keeps going long after. So how does that actually translate to what we see in the mirror? Let's connect the dots to goals like losing fat and gaining muscle. If your main goal is fat loss, cardio is an amazing tool. Just look at this number. In one 12-week study, the group that only did cardio saw their BMI drop by an average of 2.1 points. Now, BMI is just a simple way to measure if your weight is healthy for your height. But a drop like that? That's a huge deal. It just goes to show how powerful that in-the-moment calorie burn can be for shedding weight. But here's the other side of that coin. When it comes to building muscle, strength training is the undisputed champion. And here's the secret power of muscle. It's what we call metabolically active. That's a fancy way of saying it burns calories 24/7, even when you're just chilling on the couch watching TV. Seriously, think of it like upgrading the engine in your car. A bigger engine burns more gas even when it's just idling. More muscle on your body does the exact same thing for calories.
You know, exercise is about so much more than just looking good. It's about our long-term health. So let's shift gears and take a peek at what's happening on the inside, from your heart all the way down to your bones.
Let's go back to that same 12-week study. When it comes to heart health, aerobic exercise was an absolute powerhouse. Check this out. The cardio group lowered their bad cholesterol, the gunk that can clog up your arteries, by 12%. And their good cholesterol, which helps clean out the bad stuff, went up by 8%. Those are massive wins for keeping your heart healthy for the long haul. But strength training has its own health superpower, building a rock-solid skeleton. Every time you lift weights, you're putting a healthy amount of stress on your bones, and that signals your body to make them denser and stronger.
It's one of the absolute best things you can do to protect yourself from things like osteoporosis as you get older. So while cardio is protecting your heart, strength training is protecting your very frame. So by now, you're probably thinking, okay, I get it. They're both good, so which one do I pick? Well, what if this whole cardio versus strength thing is just the wrong question? What if the real magic happens when you stop thinking of them as rivals and start seeing them as teammates?
This quote right here says it all. It's from a study on people with type 2 diabetes, and what they found was that combining the two types of exercise was, and I'm quoting here, essentially twice as good as just doing one or the other. I mean, think about that for a second. Not a little bit better, twice as good. This shows that they don't just add to each other, they multiply each other's benefits. They work together to create results that neither one could ever achieve on its own.
All right, so we figured it out. The ultimate answer is to do both. But what does that actually look like in real life? When you have a busy week, how do you possibly fit it all in? Let's break it down into a simple, practical game plan that anyone can follow. The most important thing is to tailor your week to your number one goal. So if weight loss is your top priority, you'll want to lean a little more on cardio to really maximize that calorie burn. But you can't skip the strength training. That's what's going to build the muscle to keep your metabolism fired up long term. Now, if your goal is to build muscle and get stronger, then strength training is your priority. No question. It's non-negotiable. And if you're like most people and you're just trying to be healthier overall, then a balanced mix of both is, without a doubt, the winning ticket. And look, this doesn't mean you have to live in the gym. Here's a super simple, science-backed plan. Try to get in 2 full-body strength sessions a week. For cardio, something like a brisk 30-minute walk 5 days a week is a fantastic goal. And for those strength workouts, focus on the big exercises, the ones that work a bunch of muscles at once, like squats, push-ups, and rows. They give you the most bang for your buck. A great starting point is to aim for about 4 total sets for each big muscle group over the whole week. And hey, if you're super short on time, there are tricks to make your workouts even faster. You can try something called supersets. That's where you do an exercise for one muscle, like a push-up for your chest, and then immediately do an exercise for an opposite muscle, like a row for your back, with hardly any rest. It's an amazing way to keep your heart rate up and get the same amount of work done in way less time. Just a quick heads up, especially if you're new to lifting weights, you're probably going to feel a little sore. Research actually shows that's super common with resistance training. It's completely normal. It's not a sign you did anything wrong. It's just a sign that your muscles got the message and they're busy getting stronger. So we started this whole thing with a big showdown, cardio or strength. But it turns out the real answer isn't choosing a winner. It's creating a partnership. These are 2 different tools that, when you use them together, build a body that's healthier, stronger, and tougher than either one could ever build alone. And at the end of the day, all the science and all the perfect plans in the world don't mean a thing if you don't actually get started. The best workout is the one you enjoy enough to do consistently. So whether that's a walk outside or a few squats in your living room, the most important thing is just to make your first move. So what's it going to be?